Hi, I'm Terry McKall, the mountain bike editor here at Canadian Cycling Magazine, and we're here today in the Cumberland Forest to talk about Shimano XTR Di2 9200. For those of you keeping track of Shimano's naming convention, yes, that is Di2, and that means that wireless and electronics are back in mountain biking for Shimano. We spent a few days in Tucson, Arizona with the Shimano crew back in February, learning about and riding the new group. And after that, I got to take it home here to Vancouver Island to thrash it around for a couple months. So today we'll talk about what's new, our thoughts about Shimano's new direction for Di2, and a little bit about how it compares to some of the other wireless group sets out there. So for those of you that have been following Shimano for a while, you'll know that, well, this isn't new, it also wasn't inevitable. Shimano first released XTR Di2 back in 2015 when we had 2 chainrings and only 11 cogs, and that was a fully wired group. For its next update in 2017, Shimano reverted back to cables for its first 1x12 group. But there's a lot more going on here than just cutting cables. Shimano's made several interesting design choices, and these choices make a couple very interesting features possible. There are also big updates to the brakes, shifter design, there's new cranks, and a return to wheels. That's a whole lot to cover, so let's just dive right in. Shimano's XTR group has always been a race-inspired group and served as a platform where its engineers have the freedom to show off their skills before those innovations trickle down the line in simpler forms. In addition to those twin focuses, Shimano says that the new XTR was driven by an effort to let the riders choose what's best for themselves. So the main attraction is, of course, the rear derailleur. Before we dive into design, let's get this out of the way. It's fast. It's as fast as you would expect from any Di2 group or any race-focused drivetrain. It's fast under power, and it's fast when you're just cruising around on the trails. It also has quite a different shape than anything that's come from Shimano in the past. This isn't just aesthetics. The wedge shape is a central part of the design, helping reduce the effect of head-on impacts. Instead of a Shadow Plus clutch, it has a dual spring chain stabilizer, Shadow ES. This creates room for the battery to be tucked quite neatly inside the derailleur body, safe from weather and from impacts. The really big feature though is XTR's automatic impact recovery function. Shimano uses torque sensors to disengage the motor in event of an impact. It then automatically goes back to where it was and you can keep right on racing. Unlike other Shimano and competitor crash modes, you don't need to stop and reset, so you can finish your stage, your race, or your ride uninterrupted. I happened to catch this feature in action on the press camp in Arizona after catching a rock towards the end of our first ride. As someone who's been riding for the better part of 25 years and who used to keep a stash of least broken derailleurs on hand, it was kind of mind-blowing to look down and see XTR beep boop right back into place before I had a chance to slow to a stop. Most current derailleurs are already very good, but this sets XTR apart. One feature riders might have been expecting is a direct mount design. Instead, Shimano uses a traditional derailleur hanger for the same reasons it's always worked. It acts first as a weak point to protect the frame and derailleur body, and it allows the derailleur to pivot backwards, which helps the impact recovery to work. As a bonus, it also means you don't need UDH compatible frames to run XTR, so all of you with a forever bike that predates UDH can now run the latest wireless group. There are 2 versions of the derailleur, a standard 10-51 cassette and a compact option that works with a new 9-45 cassette with better ground clearance and a lighter weight. Moving up to the shifter, Shimano's opted for a more traditional look and operation, what they're calling a shifter-shaped shifter. For anyone used to Shimano's mechanical groups in the past, this shifter will immediately feel quite familiar. That, Shimano says, was part of the point. It uses 2 paddles. Both are 4-way adjustable. This gives XTR the shifting speed you'd expect from a race-focused group. There's a very tactile feeling to each click, making it easy to feel the difference between a single, double click, and click and hold while riding. There's also a 3rd programmable function button on the front shifter. You can adjust shifting speed, reverse the shifters, as well as set the function button. There's hints this function button could expand in the future, and the presence of Fox Transfer Neo on this test bike gives us, personally, an idea where we'd like to see that develop. Shimano has completely redesigned the trail and enduro bikes for XTR and overhauls the XT versions as well. The trail lever moves 5 millimeters closer to the bar and gets a 5 millimeter upsweep, which is supposed to be more ergonomic. Shimano also moves to a new low viscosity brake fluid. This aims to make XTR much more reliable and consistent than, well, like some of Shimano's brakes have been in the past. Fortunately, you can't put the new lowest viscosity fluid in any old brakes. The new caliper and pads are redesigned to be quieter, silencing the rattling that has also plagued some fin pads in the years past. These changes by and large work out on trail. The brakes are quieter, consistent, and quite comfortable to use. Moving on to the cranks, there's two versions, again an XT and a Trail Enduro version. They return to Shimano's hollow forged alloy construction, not the bonded design of some other Shimano cranks. XT prioritizes weight, gaining strength in just a single gram from the weight of 9100. The Enduro set uses a thicker BB spindle, what they're calling a Ritchie Rude spec, to handle bigger impacts. And finally, wheels. Shimano's been a bit quiet, if not silent, on the mountain bike wheel front. They're returning again with two options. There's a lightweight cross-country wheel set that hits the sub 1200 gram mark on weight with the help of some bougie titanium spokes, hooked carbon fiber rim construction. Their Enduro wheels prioritize durability and ease of maintenance. They use 4 millimeter thick hookless sidewalls to prevent damage and to help prevent pinch flats, and they just use simple J-bend spokes. The big change is that the new hubs no longer use cup and cone bearings. Shimano moves to cartridge bearings for, again, ease of maintenance. The hubs are center lock, as you'd expect, and use micro spline free hub body. There's 3.5 degree engagement, which balances speed and lower drag. We're testing the M9200 Enduro wheels here. They've proved tough so far, holding up through the pings of numerous rim strikes and poor line choices. There is maybe more surface scratches than I'd expect to see after just a couple months, but nothing deeper or concerning. What doesn't change? Chain, rotors, both remain the same. There's a slight change to the cassette for the 10 to 51, with Shimano changing the finish on the larger cogs, but any HD Plus cassette will work with the new derailleur, from existing XTR down to the more price-conscious 12-speed groups. This is possibly the biggest story of XTR. There are no new standards. Everything is backwards compatible with existing Hyperglide Plus drivetrain parts, except obviously the shifter and rear derailleur. To take advantage of that, Shimano is offering upgrade kits out of the box. Both the standard and compact option, and this is not just a limited run either. This option should stay on the menu for a long time. The upgrade kits include the rear derailleur, shifter, battery, charger, and a 12-speed quick link, so you can drop this into your existing 12-speed Shimano drivetrain, XTR or otherwise. Shimano also quietly mentioned that this uses the same wireless protocol as its drop bar groups like Dura-Ace, so you can get weird and use those shifters too, or if you're running Di2 GRX and want a wide range wireless group for gravel, the derailleur will talk to your existing levers just fine. Shimano is offering the disc brake as a separate kit as well if you're happy with cables but want the improved stopping power and consistency, but they're only offering the 4-piston version for that. So let's talk about Shimano XTR versus the obvious competitor, SRAM's T-Type wireless transmission. Shimano clearly takes a very different approach to wireless shifting than SRAM. Instead of the burly T-Type, XTR delivers a tactical and agile approach. So no, you can't stand on your XTR rear derailleur, but it will dodge rocks and keep on rolling. It's also much faster in its shifting after the first shift, which is important for a race group, and it's also smoother when you're not putting down massive watts. It's much more customizable instead of prescriptive, so you do have to set it up, sure, but you can set it up to tune to your preferences. I think Shimano has created a true competitor for wireless drivetrains. There's plenty of advantages, both big and small, that make this worthy of the XTR name. But of course, there's a lot more details to cover because this is a huge release for Shimano. So head over to the website for our full review, for our podcast with North American product manager Nick Murdoch, who is also part of Shimano's global design team and one of the men behind this new XTR release, and a whole lot more.